Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday, March 2nd, 2016, the major news headline was that Aubrey McClendon, the former CEO of Chesapeake Energy, a pioneer in fracking, the practice of extracting natural gas from the earth, passed away in a fiery car wreck one day after being indicted on federal charges of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act. As soon as I heard this news, the first thing I thought of was Ken Lay, the former CEO of Enron, who died of a heart attack after being sentenced to prison. He died exactly 110 days before his prison sentence was to begin. Later in 2006, he passed away July 5th, 2006. He was supposed to begin his prison sentence October 23rd. At the time, I thought Ken Lay's death was highly suspicious, and every person who I hinted to that I thought his death was faked to avoid his prison term, I got the typical response: "Oh, Zach, you're crazy." And to this day, I've never thought it was crazy to think that Ken Lay faked his death, recognizing that he was one of the most powerful men in the nation. Enron and Ken Lay were the biggest campaign contributors to George W. Bush, the president at the time of his death. When Bush first took the office in 2001, almost every picture of him was with Ken Lay. So, very powerful man, completely capable of having his death faked to avoid a prison sentence. And the same exact thing is true of Aubrey McClendon. So, let's watch this mainstream news coverage, then let's break down what's curious about his death, and then let's also examine what was very suspicious about Ken Lay's death. I want to show you the parallels. So, here we go with the news coverage.
A titan of the oil industry, dead just hours after being indicted by a federal grand jury. Officials confirming Aubrey McClendon, the former CEO of Chesapeake Energy, one of the world's biggest natural gas producers, killed in a car crash in Oklahoma City.
So I just want to pause right here. Look at how burned up this car is. When people get in car wrecks, their cars don't typically explode unless it's in the movies. This looks like a movie scene right here. Also, ask yourself, what is a billionaire doing driving a 2013 Chevy Tahoe? That's not a vehicle that a billionaire drives, let's be honest. Very suspicious from the start. And then, of course, one day after an indictment,
Early Wednesday, police say McClendon drove into a bridge wall on a two-lane highway and that the vehicle was so badly burned they couldn't tell at first if he was wearing a seatbelt.
He pretty much drove straight into the wall. The information and the evidence out there at the scene is that he went left to center, went through a grassy area.
yeah, grassy area. Look at this officer's name. These police officers are Freemasons. They often recreate their names to have special gematria. Paco Balderrama. I mean, it's possible that that's his birth name, but we'll look in just a moment about what's suspicious about his name. Remember, the police are owned by the Freemasons. Freemasons often reformat their names to give them the numerical significance that they want. Paco Balderrama, very suspicious name.
Right before colliding into the embankment. There was plenty of opportunity for him to correct or get back on the roadway, and that didn't occur.
Reuters reporter Joshua Schneier has been covering McClendon for 5 years.
Mr. McClendon was a larger than life figure. He was really part of the renaissance of fracking, hydraulic fracturing, and drilling for natural gas and oil across the country, part of which helped the U.S. Quickly boost oil and gas production and what we now consider the shale oil and gas boom. He was a controversial figure. He was considered very aggressive in his land leasing tactics. He was a consummate deal maker.
His car wreck comes less than 24 hours after being charged with conspiracy to rig bids to buy oil and natural gas leases for drilling in Oklahoma. Those charges followed a federal antitrust probe that began after suspicious behavior was uncovered in a 2012 Reuters investigation involving Chesapeake and a rival in Kana.
We found during that reporting that McClendon had exchanged emails both with deputies at Chesapeake and with officials at Encana, in which they discussed how to suppress the price of land leases in their bidding in Michigan during 2010.
If convicted, he faced a prison term of 10 years and a fine of up to $1 million. McClendon used his success to fund many philanthropic efforts and business ventures, including part ownership in the NBA Oklahoma City Thunder, which plays in the Chesapeake Energy Arena. And he also was involved with national politics. In 2004, he was part of the big money behind the Swift boat attacks against Democratic presidential nominee John Kerry. McClendon was 56 years old.
So if you don't remember the Swift boat ads, Truth Seeker, that is what sunk John Kerry, supposedly. He went from being the favorite to win in 2004 to rapidly under George W. Bush. And again, Kenneth Lay, a major supporter of Bush in his first term. So there's another parallel between Kenneth Lay and Aubrey McClendon. Also, that energy company that they showed on the screen, who's also involved in the racket, they have gematria that matches the word energy, Encana Energy. I'll show you how Chesapeake has the gematria as well. So let's get to it. If you're new here, I talk about numerology, gematria. Gematria is a practice of the Freemasons, and it is the Freemasons who rule over us. They control governments, media, corporations, and one of their favorite practices is abiding by this numerological code, from words to dates, as you'll understand more and more as we decode this. The name Aubrey Kerr McClendon, what stands out the most is that Aubrey has gematria of 27. He started Chesapeake Energy in 1989, 27 years ago. The name McClendon has gematria of 38, like the word death, but also like the word energy, the small way. Energy, the small way, equals 38. This is a fitting name for an actor agent to serve the part of the head of a major energy company. And so often these Masonic men, they take on these actor agent names to fulfill roles, from government positions to CEO positions. So I suspect that Aubrey McClendon is now going on to whatever his likely birth name was. I suspect that this was his actor agent name. His days as the actor agent are now over. He can probably assume his original identity. So Aubrey Kerr McClendon. Aubrey McClendon sums to 65. He's dead at age 56. In history, we've seen many actor agents die at this age, from Abraham Lincoln to Adolf Hitler. Both of those men died in the month of April, the only month with 56 gematria. We'll see how these numbers connect to Ken Lay so well in just a moment. His full name in simple English gematria sums to 207. In numerology, 0 doesn't count. 207 is a lot like 27. Again, he was the head of the company for 27 years. His initials, AM. A's the first letter, M's the 13th. The letters AM form 113, which is a signature of the Freemasons. Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the branch of Masonry that has dominated this nation since the beginning, has gematria of 113, just like mainstream, just like dishonest. Numbers these people love to code in their ongoing agendas. Baba Kama 113a, Jewish Holy Book, says Jews may use lies to circumvent Gentiles. Notice the 113, dishonest, mainstream, Freemasonry, secret society, all tying together. Chesapeake, the small way, sums to 38, just like the word energy, just like the name McClendon, a number that also ties to death. Ken Lay died on a date with 38 numerology, as many celebrities do. Chesapeake also has gematria 56, the age McClendon died at. Chesapeake the big way, 74, just like energy. Chesapeake in English gematria, 444, 74, just like Masonic. Notice that Masonic also has the gematria of 223. In a moment, we'll talk about how this number connects to the Oklahoma City Thunder and more. McClendon, 56, was driving alone and traveling very fast when his car drove straight into an overpass wall, according to the Oklahoma City Police Department. See, according to the police department. And the police are here for who? Since the beginning, the police have been employed by the wealthy industry. The first ever police were located in India, and they were there for the traders. They were employed by the merchants, industry. And it's always been that way ever since. Police are not here for the general population. If you've ever needed the police before, you've likely found out how useless they are. The majority of us, the only impact police have on our lives is writing tickets. They are here for the wealthy class. They are not here for us. They are part of the deception. They are owned by the Freemasons. They say he was driving a 2013 Chevy Tahoe. That's the same year he had to step down as chairman of his company. That's the year he got himself in hot water. 2013, independent year numerology, you can add 20 plus 13, giving you 33. A number of the Freemasons, a number often coded into hoaxes and psychological operations. With regards to Chevrolet Tahoe, it has gematria of 67, which connects to Freemasonry. It also connects to blood sacrifice. I don't think he really died. It's possible he did. But I think it's just a sacrifice, again, of the character, Aubrey McClendon. Chevy also has that gematria of 27, syncing up with Aubrey, how long he was affiliated with the company. Chevy Tahoe has gematria of 112. Remember, 112 is the alternate dialing code for 911. If you punch that in your phone, you will get 911.